Hi class, here's a quick video on calculating present value. So look at this particular problem that's laid out here. If you're promised that in 20 years you're going to you have to make some investment today so that in 20 years you would have $500,000. That's this number here, $500,000 in 20 years. And you know that the rate of return would be 11% annually. A way this might be presented to you is someone say, hey, if you give me $70,000 today, I'll give you $500,000 back in 20 years. Now, the consideration you have to make is the trade-off. Trade-off is an important point. So if you know that you could stick your money today, whatever money you have, you could place that in an investment vehicle somewhere and earn 15%, right? 15%. Then in 20 years, if you calculate whatever amount of money you put in at 15%, you're going to say, I put my money where I need to earn 15%. And how would you know that putting your money in that 15% option is the better opportunity? Because you would take this number that they've provided. In 20 years, we're going to give you $500,000 back, and we're paying 11% annually. You could determine, okay, how much money is that in today's calculation? If you were to work backwards, determine the present value of that $500,000 in 20 years, earning during the period 11%. How much money is that in today's money? So here, that's what we do here. You do the payout, the $500,000, and that's divided by 1 plus the interest rate raised to the power, the exponent, the number of years. And you would determine that $500,000 in 20 years over that period earning 11% annually is really $62,016.95 in today's money. So if you were told, give me $50,000 and I will give you back $500,000 in 20 years, this exercise, if you were only able to get 10% somewhere or even 11%, you know immediately that if you were asked to put down $50,000, the moment you invested in that opportunity, your money, you've gained the difference between the $50,000 and the value that $500,000 has, the present value, which is 62,016.95. Now, I've said all of that to show you how to determine this using Excel. So again, in my earlier video, we did both the Excel and the calculation. If you have the right calculator, you could just depress this number, 500,000 divided by 1.11, which 0.11 represent the 11%, raised to the power 20, and you say the present value of this money is $62,016.95. Let's do this calculation in Excel. So you open an Excel spreadsheet, you select whatever cell you want to work in, you depress the equal key, and you can use this drop down. If you don't see PV for present value, you could select more functions and just type PV, and it will bring you to the present value calculation. You now move the mouse over to we're in the top left, you select present value, right? When you select present value, it opens the box for you to use. The questions, all you have to do in Excel is actually enter the rate. So we said in this case, the annual rate of return is 11%, right? So we come over here, and I'm going to do this two ways. I'm going to show you something. If I put 11, right? I put 11, straight 11. I put number of periods would be 20 years. I put 20. And I'm not making any payment other than the initial investment. The future value is $500,000, and you select OK. So watch that. See, it says 0. That's an important point. I want you to see this. The reason I did that happened because I put 11. What is 11%? It should be 0.11, right? So let's go back and start over. We put z equal, we select present value. The rate is 11, so we put 0.11. The number of period is 20. The future value of this is $500,000. So if I key $500,000 in here, I will get a negative number. It's going to be the same. But if I keyed a negative number here, the payout will be a negative. It will give me a positive. So let's do both. So $500,000, 1, 2, 3. And what we have, 62,016.95. All right, let's do this exercise again. And I'm now going to, instead of putting a $500,000, I'm going to change that to a negative, just so you can see. Don't be confused with the whether it's positive or negative. All right, so again, we press the equal. You select PV. The rate is 0.11 for the 11%. The number of periods, 20 for the number of years. Future value, and I'm going to put a negative just to show you 500,000. We pressed OK, and you see it says the present value is 62,016.95. Essentially, if you do not key a negative number, you will get a negative result. Just be comfortable that this is the same. If you've keyed the rate in and the number of periods, and you have the payout amount, you would see that's $500,000. You would use this type of process to determine whether or not your investment initially is a good value. So if someone were to say, hey, I'll give you 500,000 back in 20 years if you gave me $50,000 today, you have a trade-off. You could put that money at 11%. You would instantly, the moment you invest your $50,000 in that instrument, you would actually gain the difference between the 50,000 you've deposited and the actual present value of that investment, which would be, the difference is $12,016.95. This would be a good investment. Hopefully you find this helpful. Go for it, do good work, and I'll see you. Have fun learning.